Gingerbread and the holidays go hand in hand, don't they? This year, let's add some excitement with my spiced gingerbread cookie dough, packed with bold aromatic spices for an unforgettable holiday treat. Let's get started on the dry ingredients. Grab a large mixing bowl and let's build the base. First, add 3 cups of all-purpose flour, the foundation of our dough. Next, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda for a soft lift, followed by ½ teaspoon of salt to balance the sweetness. Add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon for holiday warmth and 2 teaspoons of ground ginger for a festive zing. Include 1/2 teaspoon each of nutmeg and ground cloves for depth, plus 1/4 teaspoon of allspice to tie together. Finish with a pinch of black pepper or Jack Ripper pepper for a bold kick. Now for my favorite part, whisking. As I whisk it all together, the aroma starts to transform my kitchen into a holiday bakery. If whisking feels too basic for you, grab a large sifter for a more elegant approach. Either way, this step ensures all those spices are perfectly mingled. And here's my secret weapon, a tablespoon of cornstarch. It's the unsung hero that keeps your cookie shapes on point and ready to shine. Since I'm making a double batch of my favorite holiday cookies, because one batch is never enough, all the measurements here are for a single batch, but feel free to double them if you're baking for a crowd like me. Let's move on to the wet ingredients. First, grab a medium bowl, crack 1 large egg into the bowl. This is the binder that holds all the deliciousness together. Next, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It's the cozy note that ties all the flavors together like a warm holiday hug. Pour in 1/2 cup of molasses. It's the heart of gingerbread, giving it that deep flavor and rich dark color. If you don't have molasses, dark corn syrup can substitute, but it won't have the same bold depth. Whisk everything together until smooth and well combined. If you want a rustic vibe, use a fork, but I prefer a whisk. It's faster and cleaner. Since I'm making a double batch of these cookies, because let's be real, one batch disappears faster than I can hide them, I'm breaking out my 7-quart stand mixer. This powerhouse handles the mountain of dough like a champ, saving me from an unexpected armed day. If you've been using a hand mixer until now, it's time to give it a well-deserved rest. Switch to a sturdy wooden spoon and finish mixing by hand. Trust me, a hand mixer would probably quit on you halfway through and leave you with a dough explosion. Now, if you're using a stand mixer with a tilting head, don't worry, it'll work just fine for a single batch. But for a double batch, not so much. The dough can climb up the bowl and get jammed, leaving the poor mixer looking like it's fighting for survival. That's where a bowl lift mixer really shines, keeping everything in place and working smoothly. Now comes my favorite part, creaming the butter and sugar. This step always feels like the moment the magic starts to happen. I begin by grabbing the bowl of my trusty KitchenAid mixer. It's been my go-to for countless holiday baking adventures. Into the bowl, I add half a cup of softened unsalted butter. Softened butter makes all the difference here, ensuring a smooth and creamy texture. Next, I measure out half a cup of packed brown sugar and add it to the butter. The molasses and brown sugar give the cookies their rich flavor and helps with that soft, chewy texture we all love. Forgot to soften the butter. Don't panic, I've been there. I even wrote a blog post, How to Soften Butter. Quickly, packed with tips to rescue you when time or memory isn't on your side. It's super handy for moments like these. Using the paddle attachment, I cream the butter and sugar on medium speed for about 2 to 3 minutes. The result is a light, fluffy mixture, which is key. This step creates the structure for the cookies and ensures they have that perfect soft texture. Next, I grab a silicone spatula to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Butter and sugar have a sneaky habit of clinging to the edges, and we don't want to miss a single bit of it. If you're looking for healthier alternatives for some of the ingredients in this recipe, I've got you covered. On my blog, I've put together a list of easy substitutions to make these spiced gingerbread cookies a bit lighter while keeping them just as delicious. Whether you want to cut back on sugar, swap in whole wheat flour, or explore other ingredient options, you'll find all the details there. It's a great way to customize the cookies to fit your dietary needs or preferences. Head over to my blog to check out the full recipe and all the healthier substitution tips. The link is in the description below. Once everything's back in the mix, I add the molasses mixture and blend it all on medium speed until fully combined. By this point, your kitchen will smell like a holiday dream, and we're just getting started. I hope you're loving the process of making this spiced gingerbread cookie dough as much as I am. If you're enjoying this recipe, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss out on any of my festive baking fun. Do you have a favorite gingerbread recipe that's close to your heart? Maybe it's a unique twist you've created or a cherished family recipe passed down through generations. I'd love to hear all about it. Share your gingerbread stories in the comments below so we can swap ideas and keep the holiday spirit alive. Here on my channel, I combine my passion for food photography and baking, inviting you into my kitchen to celebrate the joy of creating something delicious. From capturing that perfect cookie shot to sharing recipes filled with holiday magic, I hope you leave here feeling inspired to bake up something amazing. Thanks for joining me on this festive adventure. Let's roll out that dough and create some gingerbread masterpieces together. Now it's time to bring it all together. Wet meets dry. I gradually add the dry ingredients to the wet mixture, working in thirds. Trust me, this step is all about patience and strategy. Dump it all in at once, and you'll be cleaning up a flour explosion for days. Nobody wants flour cloud takeover in their kitchen. I keep the mixer on low speed and let it do its thing. Watching it slowly pull everything together is oddly satisfying. It's like the mixer is on a mission to create perfection. No rushing, no mess, just steady, dependable dough making. By the end, you'll have a beautiful, smooth, slightly firm dough that's a total dream to work with. It's not sticky, it's not crumbly. It's just right. Honestly, it feels like a little victory every time I get to this stage. Perfect dough, no flour storms, and a kitchen that still smells like a holiday bakery. What more could you ask for? Now here's how to test if your dough is ready. Take a small piece and roll it into a ball. If it holds its shape without crumbling and isn't sticky to the touch, congratulations, you've nailed it. If it feels too dry or crumbly, add a teaspoon of milk or water at a time and mix again until it comes together. If it's too sticky, sprinkle in a little more flour, a tablespoon at a time, until the texture is just right. It's all about balance, and small tweaks can work wonders. The final challenge, freeing the paddle attachment from the dough. By now, the dough has clung to it like a toddler to their favorite toy, refusing to let go. I usually give the paddle a few gentle twists and then scrape it down with my trusty silicone spatula. Sure, it's a bit of a sticky wrestling match, but it's oddly satisfying when you finally win. Plus, you get to sneak a taste of the dough as a well-earned reward. Quality control, right? At this point, it's time to divide and chill the dough. I like to start by laying a sheet of food wrap flat on the counter. This keeps things neat and makes the process so much easier. Next, I scoop half of the dough onto the wrap. By loosely wrapping it first, I avoid getting dough all over my hands or counter. Once it's loosely wrapped, I gently press and shape it into a disc. No mess, no fuss. If you prefer, you can shape the dough into a disc first and then wrap it up tightly. Both methods work, so go with whatever feels easiest for you. The discs need to chill in the fridge for a minimum of an hour. But if you're like me and planning ahead, freezing the dough is a game changer. To freeze, place the wrapped dough discs into a freezer bag. Squeeze out as much air as possible and seal it tight. Don't forget to label the bag with the type of dough, Spiced Gingerbread Cookie Dough, and the date using a black Sharpie. Future, you will thank you. The dough will stay fresh in the freezer for up to 3 months, ready to roll out whenever the holiday baking mood strikes. A single batch makes about 24 spiced gingerbread cookies, depending on the size of your cookie cutters. If you go for smaller shapes, like tiny stars or mini gingerbread men, you'll get even more cookies to enjoy. It's such a fun way to stretch the dough and have a little extra for sharing, or let's be honest, for sneaking a few yourself. Here's a little tip from me to you. When you're baking, keep cookies of the same size on one sheet. Mixing big and small cookies together? Disaster. The little ones will overbake while the big ones are still gooey. Grouping by size, make sure everything comes out perfectly golden and just right. Oh, and if you're as gingerbread obsessed as I am, you have to check out my gingerbread playlist. I've got a ton of recipes, from the classic gingerbread men we all love to fun twists you might not have tried yet. It's like a gingerbread wonderland, and I know you'll find something that makes you want to dive right back into baking. Let's keep this gingerbread adventure going. Okay, I'm going to let you in on my little holiday baking secret. It's how I stay sane during the madness. Here's what I do. I make the dough ahead of time and freeze it. Then, when I have a free moment, I bake the cookies and freeze them again, fully baked. The real magic happens about a week before gifting. I pull them out, let them thaw, and then start decorating. Here's the best part. You can start this whole process as early as September. It's a total lifesaver. The cookies stay fresh. I avoid the chaos of last-minute baking marathons, and I actually have time to enjoy the holidays. Trust me, once you try it, you'll never go back to the old way. Once the dough is chilled, it's time for the fun part, rolling and cutting. This dough is perfect for all kinds of cutouts, whether you're making classic gingerbread men, delicate snowflakes, or even your own unique designs. My daughter loves picking out shapes for each holiday, and it's become one of our most cherished family traditions. And that's it, spiced gingerbread cookie dough. That's bursting with warm spices and holiday cheer. Whether you're baking for loved ones or treating yourself, this recipe is sure to bring smiles all around. Don't stop here though. Watch my next video on how to make classic gingerbread dough for even more holiday baking fun. Happy baking!